I'm coming in hot.
What it do? It's week 2. Welcome in to the Goose and the Griz podcast. He is Goose. I am the Griz. And we are here to bring you everything that is maximum effort, minimal results, and everything that happened in the second week of the NFL season. Goose, how you doing today, brother?
Doing good. We're doing a show in the daylight. It's kind of weird, but I think it's gonna work.
Yeah, I don't know what this big morning star is doing outside. I'm used to it being blackout, but hey, we'll work with it. We'll do the daytime show instead of the nighttime show, right?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of some daylight here, or some light that's shining a little differently, we have a guest for our effort of the week this week. From Eli to oh my, let's bring in Carlos. Where is he at?
There he is.
There he is. Congratulations on your big win, Carlos. How you feeling, man?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. I was sweating with that Lewis win.
Yeah, you scored a lot more than you were probably expecting him to, but you scored just a smidgen more, 150 to 146.5. I'll give you the breakdown real quick. You tell me what you think was the difference. Your top 5 players, we call them the high 5, your quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. You actually got outscored 82 to 96 on that one, but it was your flex that looked like the difference. You outscored them 68 to 50 and 3/4. And then thankfully it didn't have to go to the bench. But if it did, you actually would have pulled it out for once. But what do you think was the hinge pin on getting your win this week?
To be honest, is his guy, man. What's his name? Najee Harris just screwed him over. I mean, all he needed was 10 points?
You got him actually 5. So yeah, half of what you would have thought was low. So that had to be low, absolutely.
It really came down to the wire, man. It was between him and Olave. Also, he got a wide receiver.
Yeah, man. Olave's a great keeper for you. He definitely had a crazy catch that Monday night. That helped you out. He definitely gets his, that's for sure. And it was probably closer than you wanted it to be. But hey, you pulled out the win. You moved to 2-0, so you got to be feeling pretty good going forward, huh?
Yeah. Let's take a look at that catch now that you mention it.
Absolutely. That thing is worth a second, third, and fourth look. Derek Carr with the classic overthrow, but put it only where he could get it.
He is good at that, though.
That's what? That's the second Monday night in a row we get a star wide receiver tipping a bad pass right to himself, right? Garrett Wilson last week, and this week was just absolutely amazing. Love that.
Yeah, that was sick. What do you think about that, Carlos?
Big catch. Big catch. Can't say much about it, man. Classic Derek Carr. So.
Yeah, 42-yard catch. He went 6 for 86. Almost had another touchdown. He stepped out at the 7-yard line. You got a solid team here, man. You got your team consists of a top 3 quarterback with Justin Herbert. You got the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy, Tyreek Hill, averaging 30.5 points. You got a number 4 wide receiver in Mike Evans, right, making a comeback late in his career. And surprise, surprise, you got the number 5 running back in fantasy, Brian Robinson. Who would have seen that coming?
Hey, don't forget about Aaron Jones. He's injured right now, but he got.
Ooh. That's true. Wait a minute. I think I'm getting some breaking news. Hold on. Some breaking news.
Oh, that.
Oh, and I'm guessing that this matters for some reason.
So what you think about that, Carlos? Isn't this one of your guys?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Held on for long time.
So that means he has an all-star team. He's got a deep bench that's just gotten deeper. So should we just go ahead and give him the trophy and crown him champion now, Goose?
Oh, I don't know. Not yet. He's got a very good team, I'll admit. One thing I will ask you, Carlos. So which Kareem Hunt you think we're getting? Are we getting 2021 Kareem Hunt, who averaged 14 points per game? Or are we getting 2022 Kareem Hunt, who averaged 6.9 points per game? Only had 3 touchdowns that year. had 5 touchdowns the year before in only 8 games. Which one are we getting?
Organization. So he's back. Ain't no Nick Chubb. They got to use him.
All right, 2021, he says.
Yeah, it might be. We'll see. I think it might lie somewhere in between because I think they might have smoothed over whatever differences they had last year. But Jerome Ford has been in that offense for a little while. He knows it, and he looked good. He looked actually pretty damn good Monday night. So I think he has a chance to lead the backfield, but I think they're definitely going to want to work Hunt in. So hopefully he still has something left because when Hunt was at his peak, man, I mean, people forget he was on the Chiefs first. That man took me deep in the playoffs before, so he definitely can get it done, but he's going to have to prove some consistency there.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at week 3 coming up. You get to play Jeff. And, we already went over some of your top players here. And, it looks like you're, of course, going to be leaning on Tyreek Hill, but he's got a tough matchup versus Denver. Do you have any other matchups or anything that gives you a little bit of a worry going into this game here?
I would say the Jacksonville matchup, I have, of course, Travis Etienne, and I have Christian Kirk. So that's always a good matchup. Of course, you got difficult matchups all around with Philly and Mike Evans.
Who knows? It might come down to another Monday night. Mike Evans versus Philadelphia. That is going to be a tough one for sure. So we'll have to see if he can get his 3rd touchdown in as many weeks, huh?
So I hope.
Yeah, and you got you're projected to win this one, 137 over 131. Looks like you'll be swapping out Tank Dell for Darnell Mooney, so that's not a bad move. You definitely have the advantage at the wide receiver with Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans, and in the flex spot, you definitely have more power players than Jeff does. Couple things before we let you go here. Your team name, the Florida Hurricanes. What is this? What is the meaning of this?
Bro, I got like 4 to 5 Florida team players. I got Mike Evans.
Some of the audio that we're getting sounds like he's in the middle of a hurricane. So I can understand that. So I got one last question here for you too. I gotta put you on the spot, and I gotta ask: are you gonna finally come out of the Hollywood Hills with your trade values and maybe meet us somewhere closer to the projects and? Maybe think about looking for a trade and not trying to ask for, everybody's, firstborn son and look at something in a way that might be more realistic, so to speak.
Hot seat.
I mean, I would, man. Listen, if I get presented with a good trade offer, I'll take it, But right now my team is rolling, so I don't really got to worry about that.
2-0.
Okay, it's week 2. It's week 2. So you heard it here first, everybody. If you give him a good trade offer, Carlos may consider coming back to you with something close to totally unreasonable. All right, you heard it here first.
Listen, hey, you got a good squad, man. Good luck the rest of the way. One thing I do want to give you some advice on is once you get to the playoffs, call Sajid or Manny maybe. And just give him like a commission, 5%. And I don't know, man. I think you got the best chance of winning the Super Bowl this year if you follow through with that.
Don't forget, he's in a tough division too. Everybody in his division is 2-0, so he can't go to sleep yet. He's got to stay on top of things, and you might be doing well, but a timely trade might mean the difference between you doing well in Week 14 or not being there in Week 14. So keep it in mind, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, good job drafting, bro. Strong team. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, brother.
Take it easy, man. All right. I'm sure that will not be the last time we have Carlos on. He always seems to be a magnet for those Monday games because, man, he's had some ties before, which are infamous in this league, but always cool to have him on. But let's get into the rest of our games here. We had a Game of the Week Part 2. We didn't have him on this week because... why? Well, Manny cannot take over the show, okay? We don't have a nickname for him yet that goes with Goose and Griz. Houdini is just kind of out there. So, but Manny won over Alex. He took a 3.5-point win, 123.5 to 120. He outscored Alex with his top 5, 70-47. He got outscored on his flex, 53.5 to 73. And then his bench was over Alex's as well, so it didn't have to go to a tie, but he would have won there if he did. It seems like to me his top 5 was the difference here. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. I mean, what a good matchup. It did came down to Miles Sanders in that Monday night game. Yeah, Houdini did his magic over Tua Tagovailoa Baldwin. We were watching Miles Sanders, or Alex was. Yeah, he only ended up with 7 points. And he I think, was targeted in the end zone in that fourth quarter. So that was kind of a heartbreaker there. But
Yeah.
I'm going to call this one. This thing has something to do with Monday Night Magic Manny.
Well, it just goes to show you can tongue her till she's waddling, but if you got that bedroom magic, it's always going to reign supreme, right?
I guess so.
Oh man, yeah, he pulls out the woodworks, man. He, I don't know how Manny does it without having a heart attack yet, but sooner or later, maybe he'll win by more than a score.
Yeah, 2-0, man, 2-0, and I get to face him this coming up week, and we'll talk some more about that later in the show.
Yep, absolutely. Next up, it wasn't just a twofer. We had another fun game. At least it was fun by my count. Dynasty belt and new. I have now taken over the belt from Sajid, and I am thrilled to be able to do so. I hope that I can defend it coming up because we do have division games coming, and Goose is out there. But I went over Sajid 139 to 112 and 3/4. My top 5 outscored him 94 to 66. He got the edge on me in the flex, 45 to 46 and 3/4. And his bench outscored me as well. But hey, I am absolutely happy CMC comes through for me again. And, you know, I got to say, I like how that belt theoretically fits.
Yeah, that's nice. That's good for you, man. It's a good in-season victory. New World Order versus my Jameer on the ball. You definitely took this one. Christian McCaffrey has not let down. The number 1 running back in fantasy, 260 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. So he's the leading rusher in the NFL right now. Not only that. Wait a minute, hold on. Let me look up and down that lineup. I see a guy called Puke Nakua. Is that how you mention his name?
Hey, you can call him Puke if you want to, but I'll be the dog and lap it up because let me tell you something. I saw this guy coming from a mile away, and I know it's easy to say afterwards, but I can put proof to the pudding in almost every single league, and I'm in 10 leagues this year, people. 10 leagues, 2 Dynasty, 8 redraft. I am in so many leagues, it's ridiculous. They're coming out my ears. In every single league, I got Puka. Every single one. Most of the time I drafted him. I didn't get to this time. I think I thought that somebody had drafted him, and I went for a running back in the last round. But I liked his college profile. I liked where he landed. I thought that he was kind of going to be a mini Cooper Kupp, and then once Kupp was out, it was gold. I was absolutely thrilled. 15 catches. I think he had 20 targets.
He did.
And here's the thing that I love about it. He hasn't even caught a touchdown yet, Goose. He hasn't even caught a touchdown yet. Wait till that regresses to the mean.
Yeah, I mean that was a hell of a pick. I'm gonna call this the waiver wire pickup of the year at the wide receiver position. The number 2 wide receiver in fantasy right now, most receptions in a single game by a rookie in NFL history. 5th player only in NFL history to record 10 receptions, 100 yards in the first 2 games, tied with Miles Austin, Isaac Bruce, Andre Rison, and yours truly, Cooper Kupp.
I will take it. He went Puka nuclear. I tried to make that work. I don't know if it works too well, but hey. I like me some Puka, so I like my wide receivers. I went a little running back heavy in the draft, and I wasn't planning on it, so this is a welcome respite for me, for sure. But we have more games. Goose, you and Sam. Ooh. You and Sam, man. Goose, I am not used to seeing this. You're 0-2, buddy. What's going on?
It's early. The divisions are more competitive, so we are going to be playing some tougher games. So this is kind of expected. I'm not the only person that's 0-2. I think we have 4 people in there Right now tied with that record. So it is against my brother. He did it the superior team this week. But no worries, guys. No worries. I mean, we're talking about the chefs were cooking filet mignon in the kitchen this week. Okay, come on. We're talking James Cook went off for 21 points. I mean, this guy 17 carries, 123 yards, 4 receptions, and 36 yards. I mean, I definitely did not see this coming. Zay Jones, I'm going to call him Big Bird, okay? Because his foot is probably as big as Big Bird's. He cannot keep his feet in the damn end zone. Dropped 2 freaking touchdowns. So he definitely cost me this matchup. But you
cost
know
the
what?
Jags their matchup too.
Oh yeah. And then Calvin really running into the freaking goalpost. Like they look like the freaking Three Stooges out there. So,
Yeah, absolutely, man. That was tough, and that's exactly where the difference was. Sam actually, and I know it's only 2 weeks, but he has the high five of the year so far. 111 points across his top 5 starters. You only got 74, and you lost by 15. So that's where it is, and that's tough. I mean, how are you going to overcome? When you look at the first 5 players on the board, and the lowest score is 16 points, right? So, but you'll bounce back. And how do we know that Goose is going to bounce back? Well, yeah, he has history, but history isn't what matters. Look at the score, people. He didn't lose 140 to 85. He lost 140 to 125. So don't sleep on Goose. He definitely needs to win his next matchup. I would say it's not a must win, but it's going to feel like it, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to go 0-3. So getting your first win of the year is a big deal. But you got to play your best players and see where the chips land in week 14. But definitely a little more urgency this time of year.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of things we're not used to seeing, let's bring up Kyle here. Kyle and Jeff. Now, Jeff, we've seen him go 0-2 before, but recently we've seen Kyle start out not so great. Now, he won his first game last year, but he also then went on a losing streak. This has been a little bit different for him here, man. I know he just lost Nick Chubb. It was pretty close in the high 5, 89 to 85. His flex was what really did it, 72.5 to 47. And I mean, he lost Nick Chubb, but he's got Ford. And I got to say, I know I made this joke in the chat, but I'm proud of myself. It's worth repeating. He wouldn't be the first one to overcompensate for a Chubb with a Ford, would he?
No, you wouldn't. I mean, there's nothing better than having your handcuff right there waiting for you in your bench. 24 points for Jerome Ford. I would say Kyle has, I don't say the strongest, probably the second best strongest team in his league right now. What a start. So if you had the number 1 waiver wire pickup of the year at wide receiver, he had the number 1 running back waiver wire pickup of the year with Kyron Williams. Number 2 running back in fantasy, averaging 25.3 points. I don't think anybody projected this. And then Josh Reynolds, he has 5 catches, 66 yards, and 2 touchdowns. We're talking about the number 13th wide receiver in fantasy. Those are some 2 big-time pickups, and boy, does that make his team that much stronger.
Yeah, man. I mean, you look at his team, and it's like if you were to look at his team before the game start, you're going to be like, oh, Kyle, what did you do, man? I'm sorry. We'll see you next year, buddy. But, man alive, I mean, Kyron Williams, nuclear. Josh Reynolds, nuclear. And then look at his bench. Jerome Ford, yeah, he has his handcuff. Don't sleep on this either, people. Tank Bigsby was a day 2 selection, and that is the handcuff to ETN. If anything happens to ETN, Bigsby is more than capable as a plug-in rookie running back, and he will be used. We said Jerome Ford, Justice Hill, he's the one catching passes in Baltimore, and in that offense, they're throwing to the running back at least a little bit more. He's got depth, he's got starters. Look out here, folks.
Yeah, so if anybody was trending up, it's Kyle. Jeff with his brown underwear stains might have to change his underwear because not looking good.
Yeah, I'd have brown stains in my underwear too if I had to play Kyle right now. Me and him got a history, so I'm glad we don't play for a little bit, that's for sure. And last but not least, let's bring up Hector and Joel. Ladies and gentlemen, this is surprising to me, but and I'll go over this in my thoughts at the end. But we have yet another XFLer winning over a Pop Warner League, 2-0 to 0-2. Hector won 171 3/4 to 138. It wasn't a blowout, but it was decisive. He held the edge in the high five, 92 to 85. Blew him out in flex, almost 80 points to 53. Unfortunately, Joel got him in bench, but that didn't really help him much here, and I don't think it would have made a difference. Hector moves to 2-0. Joel moves to 0-2. What are your thoughts on this one here, man?
I mean, this is just a blowout. Hector moves on to 2-0 this year. Joel goes to 0-2. Popeye's spinach punch. I don't know what the hell Popeye's eating, but it's not working. But T.
Just
Higgins,
get on some kale.
Okay, maybe he's on that kale diet, and that's why we're having an issue. But T. Higgins, 8 catches, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns, putting up a solid 28 points for him. Talk about a turnaround after scoring 0 points that first week. Hector's team is starting to turn around, but especially with Adam Thielen. A lot of people wrote him off, but he had a hell of a game. 7 catches, 54 yards, and a touchdown for 20 points. Definitely propelled Hector in this win for him.
Yeah, and not only that, but when you look at what T. Higgins did, what I think is even crazier is look at T. Higgins. You know, he got 28 points, and you would think, oh well, Joel is Joe Burrow, so he must have gotten some of that right. He got 16. Joe Burrow is questionable if he's going to play Monday night in the Super Bowl rematch, Super Bowl 56 rematch. But it really kind of sucks when you see the receiver go off and you have the quarterback and he can't even match barely half of what the receiver got. So it's a little worrisome on Joel's side. I mean, he's got Burrow, he's got Pollard, he's got Mostert. Who knows how long he'll stay healthy. Ayuk is questionable right now. Michael Thomas. I mean, he got Kelsey, Andrews, and Ferguson. But take it from me, when you're relying on tight ends, I don't care if it's tight end premium or not. It can be absolutely difficult to rely on that consistency. Kelsey and Andrews are as consistent as they come, but they started out not too hot either. So it's going to be fun to see how this goes. It might not be fun though if you're in Joel's shoes or in that Pop Warner division. But hey, I mean, if everybody's 0-2, it's up for grabs, and who knows? All you got to do is sneak in, and maybe some magic will happen in the playoffs, right?
Right.